Quick, light is really hard to do with 360. Natural light is the best thing to do in 360 or VR, mainly because like when I'm filming underwater, we stayed pretty shallow so that the light could come down. You also have the option of using lights, but accepting that they're going to be seen. And I've also been in scenes like on land where the filmmaker and the director, rather than being behind the camera, they turn the camera on and like drop and roll under the table because you have to realize that no matter where you look, it has to be part of the story. And
But are there like techniques that you find effective for like editing or like ensuring people are like maybe looking at the right place or just getting the right experience out of the film?
yeah, there were a few scenes. There's a turtle swimming over here and I'm over here. If you're looking at me, I'm doing the turtle signal and pointing. If you have a scene set up, having some kind of arrows or guidelines or some kind of map to help people find where the story is really helpful. So you can have people pointing, you can have sound effects that even if it's not directional, because some VR headsets you can tell which way it's coming from, but if you just keep hearing something like, oh, where's that coming from? You'll start looking around to find it.
A lot of my work is working with things either that can fit in your hand like yeast that are objectively boring even with like a regular phone or like something microscopic.
You have a challenge of scale, right?
Yeah. I'm also working with like proteins and stuff. It's like it's microscopic, but it isn't even like a tardigrade where you can look at it and go, "Oh, look at the cute little tardigrade moving over above me." No, there's a protein sitting there. You got like a black void and it's like, "Wow, I'm inside a protein." And it's cool for like the first like 10 seconds and then it gets like, "Wow." Eh.
I've had a similar issue with corals because people think that they're rocks or that they're not living or important. But if you zoom in on a coral and you see how active and amazing and beautiful they are and how mobile and important. Another tool we use is we put CGI over the 360 video. So we had some animations so you could see who was talking. If you look behind you, you get more information. And that also blocked out the cameraman. I would explore the possibility of CGI and creating an animated 360 environment.
So you mentioned that some headsets, but clearly not all of them, have the capacity to do directional sound. So I assume that means when you're turning around, that alters the soundscape. When you're capturing that, do you have a 360 microphone? Do you have a front back one that are both very non-directional? How does that work?
So I haven't used a 360 microphone, but they do exist. And there
Okay.
are, just like how even if you're just having a headphone on, right? Like you can sometimes have directional there. And if you have that in 360 case, I mean, that's so exciting. Is when you're underwater, sound travels very differently in water than on land. If you hear a loud noise, it it's so much faster that you can't tell the direction because it hits both ears at the same time. So when you're trying to like follow sounds underwater, you can't. You have to just like try to go towards the sound. And if it's getting louder, you're going the right direction. So it's really fun to play with 360 underwater and on land. But there are microphones that can capture, or it can be done in post production to make it directional.